Like old times, Timmy. Uh,
Yes, who's back? Back again.
Timothy Bain is here. If you follow my work and if you have for a while, then you've seen me pop on with Timmy talking about the NBA, particularly at Five Reasons, but also in other places.
Mm.
Um,
On Narcos.
and Narcos. That is true. We saw a bunch of games tonight. There are still some games going on at the time we're recording this, but more importantly, the NBA is 1 month in, probably a little over that slightly, but still, like we're at that point now where certain things are worth talking about. Certain people got, you know, 1 month awards and things of that nature, and we'll talk about the Heat specifically because at Five Reasons you've been covering them also in person, going to training camp as such because they go to your
Every
home,
but every 2 years,
the
yeah.
Bahamas. Unfortunately, the Bahamas national team lost Team USA today. What was the
As, ex-
final score to
as
that?
expected. I didn't even look. I said Tony Snell, Rocco. Yeah, it was a kind of.
I don't know, but Puerto Rico beat Cuba. I was happy about that because it was looking dicey at one point. Cuba beat the United States in February, but that's the America Cup. We're going to talk about the NBA. Okay. Timmy, let's kick it around because we were texting about some ideas here. And if people end up watching this, which, but if people end up watching this, comment, whatever the case may be, they tend to do so more so on the clips than live, which I understand. We put up a Houston Rockets segment that got some interesting comments and also some really good ones. Houston, shout out to them. We may bring them up in this segment. One of the things, though, Timmy, that is very interesting to me at this point of the year is like trying to figure out which teams in that mid tier are going to separate themselves.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
who from that group that we consider non elite in the NBA is going to jump into contendership, is going to jump into whether it's just player development, whether it's making a move or two, or whether it's just like they hit their stride after a slow start. Who are the teams that you think about when I bring this up? Like, because we've talked about Orlando. Could they make that jump? Is Houston going to make that jump? The Clippers were looking pretty frisky. They got their ass whooped tonight by the Celtics, but those are the Celtics. Is Miami going to be able to turn back the clock or whatever the case may be? Like, who are some of these teams that you're intrigued by in that non elite area that can make a jump this year? You feel like?
Well, you said that Brian Carroll is due to be back before Christmas. I like what they're doing without him. The whole even though the East is trash, they're like third in the East over France. Wagner is playing like an all star again. I think if Mosley could figure out how to get both France and Paolo to play good at the same time, that's a dangerous team because last year their defense was brutal, and the only thing they missing was a solid two guard. And KCP's points and steals and threes but not proper on the stat sheet. But he's been pretty solid for them. So I feel that they could get their two forwards, all-star forward, potential all-star forward that actually gel. They could be surprised because everyone else in the East, you could see glaring holes. The issue with the Bucks, the issue with the Heat, the issue with, well, I mean, other than the Celtics, most of these teams have like glaring holes other than health. So the Magic and the Rockets, like the Rockets have too many players. Like I read something just now that Terry Eason and Amen Thompson has like sorry Amen Thompson has like a combined like 15 stocks and like 15 points combined. Like they're like the you usually think of Sparks at the bench as scoring, but they come off the bench and they just scored 1 through 4 and they muck up the game. Um, but I think they're just missing one more like go get one player who can get it on the perimeter. Like Jalen Green is cool, but like is he going to give you 30 points every night? I don't think so.
He's also doing so pretty inefficiently. I think with Jalen Green, like when they signed him to that extension, I kind of said in my head, this is a movable deal. I don't want to just kick Jalen Green out the door because I still think he could be a good player and he's becoming one, but like you still want to see him do so efficiently, get the points he's getting. But listen, he's been one of their scoring leaders the entire season. We're not going to take that away from him. With Orlando, I always just feel like they're young and they're missing somebody. The somebody is not Contavious Caldwell Pope. He helps defensively. His shooting this year, if you have Contavious Caldwell Pope in fantasy, you might not have him anymore at the time we're talking about this. But Contavious Caldwell Pope, I mean, big contract, but also movable contract. And Orlando's an interesting team because like they have these movable pieces where like KCP, if they did want to trade him, you could throw him into a
Very,
package.
very easily, very easily. And even like Gary Harris contract, I think he's making like 9 million. Like they have some good and
Seven and a
similar,
half.
and they restructured Jonathan Isaac to where they could match some salary if they want to, or trade Goga. Even though Wendell Carter is still injured, so you have to keep at least two centers on the roster. You know,
So look at this. You have Jonathan Isaac, who's at 25, but then he'll be getting 15 next year, and it's going to decline. It'll stay around that 15 mark, but it'll be 14 and a half, and then I think bounce back up to 15 in a few years. But it's a long-term deal, but it's very palatable, especially in the modern NBA, right? So Contavious Caldwell-Pope is at 22.8, and then it's going to drop down to 21.6, and then there's a player option for 21.6 the year after. Maybe he takes it, maybe he doesn't. We don't know where he's going to be at in his career by then. He could opt into it. He'll be closer to his mid-30s or at his mid-30s. He's 31 now, so by that point, he'll be 33. Then when you look at other guys like Cole Anthony's at 12.9, and there's a team option in 2 years, team-friendly contract that stays in that lower teens, that $13 million range, packageable contract, if I could make up a word. Wendell Carter Jr. is at 11.9, and then 10.8, and then an extension kicks in, which shoots him up to 18. But still, there's a team option at the 5th year of that. Like it's not a death sentence sort of contract.
but they're really not bogged down by any bad contracts.
Right. They don't have any. The Franz Wagner extension, the massive one, that's going to kick in next year. Although a lot of people shitted on that deal, it looks like he's earning it right now. From what you've seen, had another impressive closing to a game against the Charlotte Hornets. Real hoops, 95-84. None of the high scoring shit. Oh, that's a joke.
Take us back to the 90s.
Yeah, real hoops. And then Jalen Suggs, who has an extension, also declining. They love these declining contracts over there. 35 million next year for Jalen Suggs, and then drops to 32, and then below 30 after that.
Pretty good contracts.
Yeah, and Paolo Banchero, we know he's going to get his, but they won't have to worry about that kicking in for a couple of years. So Orlando's a team that's on my radar. Like, are they going to make their move now, or are they going to wait it out another year? They could, because all these guys that I mentioned, like, they're all coming back next year, or they can at least. Some of them have team options, but like Orlando could run this back or just make trades in the
I think they'll see where they are at the deadline, and if the East hasn't made anything earth-shattering, they just go with it.
Yeah, I think there's some stuff to be had there. And listen, their defense is already, I feel like, good enough. It's just cleaning up, the offense, and part of that's just development. Like, we need to see more.
Time.
Yeah, you just need to see more from guys like Anthony Black's a young player who's like getting more of an opportunity this year, and I like them pre-draft, and I still think he can be somebody.
And he's like 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, and he runs point. Like he can run point also. So yeah, Orlando's a team that's definitely got to be on my radar. Let's talk about the Clippers, because they just lost to the Celtics.
Yeah, and shout out to Norman Powell before his injury. Who was Paul George? That's the type of energy Norman Powell was giving. Like, I could do that too, Anything he can do, I can do as well.
So the Clippers. We know Kawhi Leonard is on their books and is still on the roster and still exists and has not yet retired.
Are we sure?
How
sure are we?
But still, we were just talking about the Orlando Magic in terms of their financial flexibility that they can create. The Clippers have some of that too. It is late, people. It's very late. But with the Clippers, and we won't stay very long here, with the Clippers, James Harden is the big one, but he's only at 33.6, and then there's a player option next year for 36.3. Maybe he opts out for more years.
I think he can do the LeBron thing, like 2 years, 3 years. Yeah. Like, just keep his options open.
Yeah, 35 already, So why not keep signing? Like, just keep making a little more. We'll see how much time he has left. But you have Norman Powell, who was playing really well before he got hurt. He should be back soon, and he would. I think
this week. I think he'll be back this week.
Yeah. A lot of people probably hope so for fantasy basketball.
Same. My team needs you, Norman.
And then you have Ivica Zubac, who he's been a monster in the interior this year. And that was to be expected because of the pick and roll opportunities that he's going to get with James Harden, and also in general the rebounding opportunities, being that he's their only
And
true big.
just he's getting at least like 5 to 6 just more shots this season. Like he gets more chances to show a bit of a game.
Yeah, like Zubats is nice. I've always liked them. And then you have PJ Tucker still under still under salary
He's doing
there.
podcasts. Like, come on, bro. Like,
He's getting more sneakers, but 11.5 million. Okay. Terrence Mann, interesting contract, 11.4, and then goes to 15, 15, 16 after that. And then the rest are just young dudes. Like Derrick Jones Jr. is basically mid level, 9.5, 10, 10.4. And then you have like lower tier guys in terms of salary, Chris Dunn, etc.
Kobe Brown and the
Bones
him and
Highland,
Ty
things like that.
Jones, you
So,
know.
but like from a basketball standpoint, now enough of the contract stuff. Like the Clippers got off to a good start, like a legitimately good start. Going into the year, the talk was, at least at Action, we were talking about, hey, over under win total. I remember it being like 39 and a half ish, which would imply going over, which means they're at least about a 500 team. And it was like, well, if you look at the Western Conference is too tough. That's not going to happen. But then if you look at, well, I mean, if they play around James Harden well enough and Norman Powell makes a jump and he unlocks Ivica Zubats and James Harden is okay, they defend a little better, then yeah, maybe it happens. And all those things have happened. They're 11-8 now as we're recording this after their loss to Boston. They were fifth in defense before this
And they
game.
barely their team score over 90 points, over
Yeah.
100 points.
Yeah. The game against the Kings. The Kings went out to 8-2 run right off the bat, and it was like, oh, okay, like this might, like, Domantas Sabonis came back that game, and it was like, all right, the Kings got their big three back, and then the Clippers are like, nah, get the fuck out of here, you're not scoring anymore. Like they went on a 29-4 run, I think it was at one point, and the Kings were in the teens into the second quarter.
They're blessed. They didn't expect all of that.
Yeah,
Because
like
again, when a team helmed by Harden, you don't think of defense, but the child of Jeff Van Gundy.
and Ty Lue also. But yeah, a shout out to Jeff Van Gundy as well. What do you think of the Clippers? Like, if you're the Clippers, how would you approach this? Would you be like, all right, just ride this out until they get Kawhi back?
You have to see, because we saw what he did last year in 77 games. You have to see if then he give you the rest of the season. Can you imagine this heliocentric? I am the system Harden, play with guys who basically can run with him, play defense, space the floor, but then with a Kawhi who could, get away fit in. So I do think you've invested so many money into this player. You have to see what he has left. But I think if he breaks out, like if he comes back and breaks out again, they're gonna have to entertain trading him. It just you can't keep your hopes up on that one knee.
I kind of want to see them get another piece. I don't know what that is. Like maybe it's I mean, everyone wants a wing. Everyone wants a
Yeah,
versatile wing. Like, Kawhi Leonard would be one in waiting or whatever the case may be. But somebody who maybe can be interchangeable in terms of playing the 3-4, who can be out there with Harden. I mean, whoever this piece would be, you'd want them to close with Harden, with
facts.
Kawhi, theoretically, with Zubats. And I would say with Norman Powell also, like, you would want to clean up that other spot because the other starter right now has been Derrick Jones Jr. and he could
Mhm.
probably continue to hold down like a big role in terms of minutes. That's why you brought him in on the mid level to begin with. But
And he's been pretty solid too. Like, and again, we saw him basically make Paul George look like a role player in those playoffs with this defense.
yeah, one of the only Heat players, and we'll get to the Heat in a second. One of the only Heat players who's gotten better after he left, maybe. But yeah, I want to see them get a piece, and I'm trying to think about like who would that be? That could be like a 3-4, basically, like a combo forward who can space a little bit. Obviously, who could help defensively if you want that to be the case. But I
If
think,
only Bi didn't want a gazillion dollars.
hmm,
He wants the full max.
Brandon Ingram is interesting because the Pelicans were trying to trade him before. That that's been out there, and that's something that I know as well. Like we've talked about this. He is on an expiring contract. He's going to be in trade rumors all season long. I don't know if the Pelicans are actually going to act on it. And I don't know, frankly, what direction they're going to go in because, like, they've had a season from hell in terms of injuries.
Much
And
worse than the Grizzlies season last year already.
yeah, Zion, we don't know when he's coming back. DeJounte
CJ
Murray's
CJ
been
came
out,
back. CJ was back tonight.
and
Murray
DeJounte is Wednesday.
Murray is Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've fallen behind a bit, and they've got some ground to make up. And no one's completely out of it this early, except for like the Wizards. But no one's completely out of it this early. But Brandon Ingram's an interesting one. But man, like Harden, Ingram, Kawhi,
Yeah, that would
Powell, Zubats, like I feel like you'd want someone who needs the ball less. You know what I mean?
it would be a great player. Kawhi. It's so crazy. It's maybe a Jimothy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Is
Mm.
that what well, I wonder how Steve Ballmer would feel about not giving Paul George an extension and then
Given the same contract to Jimmy.
potentially being faced with giving one to Jimmy Butler. I also don't think we're going to talk about the Heat in a sec. I don't think they're going to. I don't think the Heat are going to. I don't think the Heat are going to trade him.
No, I think he'll finish.
Say that again. You're on mute.
No, I think he's gonna retire. I think he's just playing the part.
Maybe, yeah. Here's a bad one. Here's a nasty name. Oh, I actually found a pretty good one, but here's a nasty name. Julius Randle. If he gets rerouted.
Where?
The Clippers.
Clippers?
No.
I mean,
No. They don't. It's fine. You don't have to entertain it. Here's an actual one. Cam Johnson from the Nets.
yeah. So that was gonna be my pick. Him and DFS need to go. Get
both of them.
there. Leave. Go away. Please. Yeah, banish Tucker. They could banish Tucker to Brooklyn, which is not so bad.
Yeah.
And Cam Johnson is so I do think that Cam's gonna go to maybe the Cavs, but that'd be a sneaky good pickup for them.
Really? That's an interesting one. Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, he's been on their radar all summer, both he and DFS.
Cam Johnson. So let me pull up Cam Johnson's contract real quick so we could throw out this experiment. But yeah, PJ Tucker would have to be in this.
Yeah, it has to be PJ Tucker. Yeah.
Cam Johnson, and that alone is not going to get it done. But Cam Johnson is 22.5, 20, and then 22.5. So pretty good contract there. PJ Tucker and Terrence Mann fits right into that number.
For some reason, they do not want to trade Terrence Mann, even though he averages like a triple single every game. It's the intangibles.
Yeah, but I PJ Tucker, Terrence Mann, and some draft capital for Cam Johnson. Like, if I'm the Nets, like, give me that. And if I'm the Clippers, like, yeah, why not? I'd rather have Cam Johnson with 3 years left on his deal than Terrence Mann for 4. And Cam Johnson's just a better player. And then PJ Tucker's like, who cares at this point?
Who cares? He's just the expiring contract. Speaking about expiring contracts, the Warriors are most likely going to trade DeAndre Melton, $12.8 million.
Yeah, because he's out for the season.
So that could be Valanciunas. That could be anybody signed with a mid-level or someone. Anybody.
Valanciunas. Do you feel like Valanciunas will slow them down a little too much?
Yeah, so that's why I don't know why they want to make the trade, but I could definitely see him going to the Lakers.
What do you think about, real quick, going back to the Clippers, just finishing up, because the Warriors are interesting in this discussion. But for the Clippers, closing 5, Harden, Powell, Kawhi, Cam Johnson, Zubats?
That's three counts of jail and some good spacing.
3 counts of jail, you said?
Yes, because Kawhi is like one of my favorite players ever. I watched Lance Stevenson try to score on young Kawhi and literally almost blew his brains out. Like, he was trying to get past him for like 7 seconds. Kawhi had no smile on his face, and Lance Stevenson could not pass Leonard, like, for the life. Like, he basically melted on the spot. So yes, jail.
What if Golden State got Time Lord?
Damn, that's pretty good.
Because Time Lord's healthy now. Klingon is out.
Keyword now.
Yeah. But I asked because Klingon's out, Aiton's out. But Portland Like Portland would rather keep those two, and honestly, I think we
Right.
both.
Yeah, I heard they're trying to trap actually Aiden and keep both Klingen and Time Lord.
Well, you would know because Aiton is from the Bahamas, also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, they want to move on from Aiton already.
Look at Klingen, 19 rebounds, 0 assists. He probably doesn't complain. He probably goes to sleep at a proper time after playing video games.
Blocking shots,
You know,
also. Doesn't need the ball really a ton or much at all. Um, yeah, but I don't want to see Aiton on the Warriors. No, thank you. Walker Kessler on the Warriors would be interesting.
so yeah, but of course you know Danny wants two firsts and the right to your child's first name. It's just too much.
Let's do the Heat for 10 minutes, then we get out of here. All right. I don't know what to do with this team. Again, same thing as last
This is the
year.
least amount of Miami Heat I've ever watched because this is not healthy for me. I watch all teams. This is not healthy. It's not like Jimmy Butler. Like, why did we have to go to the overtime? Like, why?
Against Dallas without
Mavericks.
Luka Doncic.
Like, and they
Um,
fouled him on the last play.
I
Great
mean,
play by Spo, by the way.
look at least they won the game. I didn't think that like I thought they were going to lose at various points. That, but regardless, big picture with the Heat, big picture. The Eastern Conference, as you mentioned, bad start. I don't think it's going to stay like this all year, where you can be like the 5 seed and barely be 500. But not a great start. A lot of teams need runs, runs of wins, so to speak, and things like that. Celtics are obviously on tier one. And if you want to throw the Cavs in there, at least from a regular season standpoint, yes. Playoff standpoint, we could debate that. I'm higher on the Cavs than most other people. So to
Same,
me, if you want to say
same.
Celtics, Cavs, tier one, because I think
I
that could
had
be the Eastern Conference Finals, then maybe, you
I
know.
had the Cavs as number one all season, and they looked at me like I was a madman.
Yeah, I had the Cavs before the season getting the 1 seed, and no, I had the Cavs getting the 2 seed, Celtics getting the 1 seed, Knicks getting the 3 seed. But I still think the Knicks could beat the Cavs in a playoff series. But we have to see where their defense is at that point of the year. Regardless, I feel like those are the clear best teams in the East, and Orlando's right there. Philly has Philly's got a lot of ground to make up. Milwaukee's maybe turning it around a little bit, but like
Yeah, but I don't even think it's doing much things different. Just a weaker ish schedule.
yeah, for right now the Knicks are smacking the Nuggets 95-72 in the third quarter. Jesus Christ.
No
Um,
poke to bear.
the Nikola Jokic props are probably not going to hit. Where are we at with the Heat, Timmy? Do you think they could actually get into that upper echelon this year? Can they get a top four, top five? Does it matter? Can they compete?
It
Is
doesn't matter, but they think they do just because this season makes no sense. Like Halliburton had his first real game for the year, so the East is very much in trouble. I feel, but they're not gonna blow their load or get super excited right now for this opportunity. They're gonna work towards it slowly but surely. But I do think, and I alluded to this last night in Discord, maybe Terry Rozier is the problem. Just maybe. Maybe Spo realizes that Duncan needs to play with Bomb and he unlocks some things. But I mean, despite the garbage start, they're 11th in defense still. So Spo could coach a pack of us and you'll have a top 10 defense. So I do think they have the ability to just because the defense is so strong. You have Jimmy, you have Bomb. Hero was looking like a competent human being. You could beat someone in the first round.
I mean, is that what they want to do though? Like,
No, I mean they want to get all the way, but
yeah. Okay. I think Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, like I was saying last year, is not going to work. Um, I think one of them has to be the six man. It looks like it should be Terry, given how Tyler's played. I guess I would ask you: one, does that make this team a better team? Two, let me save two. Answer that question first.
yeah, I just based on my very small sample size of the last two games, it looked like they got off to much better starts without Terry. Um, and because otherwise, and he plays with the bench unit, and he doesn't really, and he's on the side. So much as him, Highsmith, Akaz, Love, that's it. No one on the side is. It's not too much, not fair, it's really. So
I think you could potentially have some good lineups. Like, okay, so if you have, what was it? What would it be? Tyler Duncan,
Tyler Duncan,
Jimmy,
Timmy, Highsmith, and Brown.
Bam,
And sometimes love for Highsmith.
and your second unit is Terry, Jaquez, Jovic, Love, and
And Jovic just played pretty well off the bench.
Burks. I guess would be the other guy
Yeah,
there.
Brooks is like the breaking. But then Pele had like 14 points the last 2 games. So
Yeah,
Pele might just come and take
you still
everybody.
have Larson. You still have Ware. Ware probably makes at least a stint in
Where
Sioux
where
Falls.
where is where?
Yeah, yeah. I don't. He's just. I mean, we knew he wasn't gonna be ready right away. Like we knew
We knew everyone on our
that.
mind like, oh my god, Spo hates, Spo is washed, Spo can't coach again. Like, shut up,
He's toolsy, but like he ain't gonna play
shut
yet.
up.
But look at that. Okay, so Tyler, Duncan, Jimmy, Bam,
And
and
the
Highsmith.
choice of Love or Highsmith.
Love or Highsmith. Let's say Highsmith for the intent of moving us along. And then your second unit with Terry, Jaquez, Jovic, Love, and Burks. I'm saying it out of position, but like
Pretty
that's
solid.
that's a pretty good rotation. Now, I don't know if it's gonna get you 50 wins or like how far it's gonna go in the playoffs, but that's a pretty good rotation if it stays healthy. But there are a couple key pieces here. One of them being Tyler Hero's averaging 24, 5, and 5 right now. He's shooting 47, 43, 87 splits,
That's what I think they.
actually getting to the free throw line, which I've criticized him for in the past because he never did, and now he's actually doing it a little bit more. Of course, leading the team in usage and things of that nature, but he's playing really well. Like this is some of the best basketball he's played as a pro. Are you buying this through 14 games, this start that he's had to the season? Are you actually buying that this is who he is now? Or do you feel like he's going to drop off a little at some point?
So what do I like? What I do like is that he has refused to take those bad medias, either three or a layup. So I think he's a shooter. He understands it now. So I think he's reached the mental plane of this is my job. Now will he shoot this high all season with his first points? Probably not. It will balance out. But I do think he's broken the habit of mid ranging every single shot.
He's not, yeah, he's not doing that as much anymore. My question is, how much do you care given that it's November? And the big question with him has been, hey, can you do this in April, May, possibly June?
Well, he's the Kentucky players were able. I was worried about Bain for most of the season. He seems to have been getting a bit better. He had a big three in the clutch last night in the overtime. But I just think it's too early. But I do worry about this Rosie and Hero backcourt. Like you and I can take it up, but like that, the kind of small guys.
I'll get my threes against them for sure. If I was still playing, I don't play no more. I don't got time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I box now. I can't play ball anymore. I'm too scared too. Like if I tear the fast twitch muscles or whatever. I mean, even though
Yeah.
I'm doing like when you box, you do pendulum swings and shit. I guess it's quicker than like just fucking some of the shit you do in basketball. But it's been a minute for me. Do you buy that Jimmy Butler is going to play at an all-star level all season long? People were worried about his start. He's played really well these last couple of games. He's back off of injury. Like, where are we at with Jimmy Butler right now?
I think he's tired of all of the noise in the market, including Pat Riley that he doesn't play enough games. So I think he's going to take as much games seriously as he can because again he is due for extension and he doesn't want to shit the bed and then nobody offers him anything. He has to play for like a minimum or something. So I think his fury might be the Heat's gain.
Bam is off to a bad start so far offensively. Playing better lately, but he's still 42% from the field. He's 34% from three, which I mean, it's not like league average, but you'll take it because he's shooting almost 3 attempts per game, right? Where are you at with Bam Adebayo, Timmy? And do you think A, he's going to turn it around, and B, what is that going to look like?
The percentages are going up slowly but surely. I like the corner three, and I think those are the three he should be taking in the flow of the offense at the end of the ball. So take those threes. Don't stop possession off for the three. You and I have coined the term, Bam Garnett. Like, you're gonna see more of those
Bam
mid
Garnett.
ranges. Or I always wish he had that Giannis mindset where like I'm going to rip off the rim. The key always goes towards the basket. So I would love to see a rage filled,
rage filled. I think with Bam, it's funny because like I'm not buying the hero start fully. Like he's playing great, and there's elements of this that I think could stick. But do I think he's gonna average 24 officially the entire
Nope.
season? No, no. Like that's not gonna happen. If it does, put him in the All Star game. Seriously,
Oh yeah, you see the team is campaigning for him to be most improved.
really?
They posted it this morning. Yep.
That's faster than they've done. I mean, have they given up Bam Depoy already? Like
Never in our days. It's always like after All Star break. I'm so confused.
Bam is the only player in the NBA who's been top 5 in Defensive Player of the Year voting 5 straight years. And he's only been a starter in the NBA full time for 5 years. Every year he's been a
Wow,
starter, he's been all defense, at least second team.
that's crazy.
Um, do you think the Heat make a big move this season? Probably not, don't you? Right? You think
No,
this is
no.
what it is? Like you think that this is how
That's
they're gonna?
who was going to take Rozier? Like that's nothing to do. They
I'm
traded.
not saying it has to be Rozier.
Who is it going to be?
Okay, Jimmy's at 48-8.
No.
I don't think I ultimately do not think they're going to trade Jimmy Butler. I do not
Facts.
think that. Now, that's not the same as saying they should or
Hmm.
shouldn't. Um, because like you can get some stuff for him if somebody's desperate, a la Houston Clippers, like one of those contending teams. Um, and if you do extend him, like that could really destroy your cap.
That they could cripple your team for the rest of the maybe this decade.
You have Bam Adebayo at 35. He ain't going anywhere. You have Tyler at 29. People would want to. They've been trying to. It's not going to
The only
happen.
team I can see is what the Nets. And do you really want with the Nets on sandbag?
Would you sell high on Tyler Hero if you were the Heat?
I would if I had, but if I had a plan, like if I was
But,
completely
but
gonna,
for what? Right? Like
like
at this point.
who are gonna get more picks and the picks are gonna, and Riley doesn't really use his first round players. Like, what are you getting picks for?
Riley's going to be 79 in March. He ain't trying to hear draft picks.
Those
Rozier 24 and then 26 next year. Everyone acts like that contract is horrible. It's like
are, but I just think it's not expiring. Like, because again, if Lowry had expired, they'd be under the first apron and they could have done some stuff like maybe get DeRozan.
I think it was worth the risk, and I still think there's a world where it could work. I'm holding out
Yeah.
because like it's still very early in the season. It's no fucking November. And I saw what it looked like toward the end of last year when he was playing really well and averaging like 19, 4 and 4 toward the last was it 6 weeks of last year before he got hurt.
Yeah.
The problem with the Heat in terms of can they do something or not is you have all those big ass salaries and you have Duncan Robinson at 19.4 and the 19.8
It
partial
used to be
guarantee.
an albatross and it's now a bargain.
But then after that, you have nobody until Highsmith at 5. You have nobody in between 5 and 19 million. That makes it hard to just do deals when I read like the Magic and Clippers salary sheets to you. And if you look at the Rockets and some of these other teams, you have a bunch of guys in that in 12, 13, 10 that you can combine them 15 and you can make a move. The Heat don't have that. And that's one of the things that has worked against them too. That's why I kind of think like, for lack of a better way of putting it, they're stuck. You know what I mean? Like they kind of are what they are.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, but and look, I think Jovic could be something. I think Hakes could be something, and I think they could do it there. But
When you can tell.
it doesn't feel like the 53 win first place Eastern Conference team or whatever the case would be. It feels like they might be fighting for a play-in spot again, but we'll see. All right, let's get out of here. Knicks Nuggets. I was gonna watch the rest of that, but man, I have it on here and not looking great. That's Timothy Bain. Follow him at TIMMAY on social media with an underscore. You can see how it's spelled there and in the description. Follow his work, 5 Reasons Sports. I'm gonna relink with 5 Reasons probably at some point as well. I haven't been doing anything there lately, but we'll talk some more NBA coming up. And if you're seeing this after the fact, happy Thanksgiving if you do celebrate it. And if you don't, eat a lot of food on Thursday and probably through the rest of the weekend. We'll see y'all next.